In this lesson, we talk about transmission samples. When I say transmission, I mean see-through and refractive surfaces like glass and water. So when a camera ray hits a surface that has a shader with refractive or transmissive qualities that has a roughness bigger than 0, transmission rays will be generated in random directions and propagated through the object. The number of those rays can be controlled using transmission samples. So as you increase the transmission samples, you are increasing the number of generated rays at the hit point and therefore increasing the quality of the indirect transmissions and reducing the amount of noise from the indirect refractive areas. Now here is the scene we have. For now, we don't need to worry about the lighting setup and other shaders in the scene. We just want to focus on this vase that has a glass material applied to it. And this is the glass shader that I have it applied to the vase. To create a simple glass shader or material, you can simply choose glass preset from the material preset dropdown. And as you do that, you can see the transmission weight is set to 1. And this is the value that gives us the refractive transmission quality. Let me just set the overall roughness to 0.2, which creates a frosted glass look. And index of refraction is set to 1.5, which is the IOR for most household glasses. All the samples for our light sources are set to 4, so we don't get any direct diffuse or specular noise. I'm going to open up the render setting. The camera samples are set to 5, diffuse samples and SSS samples and also specular samples are set to 4. That yellow vase and the plant itself have materials with subsurface scattering applied to. That's why I'm increasing the subsurface scattering samples as well. The transmission samples is 2, which is the default value, and this is the render that we get from this setting. So by increasing the transmission samples, you make your frosted glass or any blurry refractions or rough transmissions less noisy and more smooth. We can shift drag around the glass so we get a render region and therefore a faster feedback. As soon as I zero out my transmission samples, you can see our glass has no refractive quality anymore. We just see some specular reflections on top of it, which is obviously coming from our material. So we need to have at least 1 transmission samples to see any refractive quality. Let's increase transmission samples to 1. As you can see, the glass is very noisy, and to get a smoother result, we need more transmission samples. Let's increase it to 4 for now. And now we have a very smooth result, especially because we have already 5 camera samples, because the actual transmission samples are the input of transmission samples squared multiplied by the camera samples squared. So that's about transmission samples. We still have SSS samples and volume samples to discuss. I prefer to discuss these two when we have a better understanding about subsurface scattering and Arnold volumes. We cover them later on in the course. So from the next lesson, we move on to the next topic. See you there.